Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, takeover news, and general football chit chat. So another day of the Glazers screwing and running the club with an early chat-in, and yes, it is, and another good chat here. This situation is annoying. The takeover situation is annoying. Everything right now at Manchester United is annoying. Glazers, leave. Sir Jim, we don't want you. Everyone at OG Nice is coming out and exposing you, despite the British press doing their best to go and cream themselves over Sir Jim PR. He's British. He's a Manchester United fan. Englishmen come in our club. Qatar will strip our soul because Sir Jim is a fantastic owner, and we're going to get Peter Schmeichel on Sky Sports to talk about how fantastic Sir Jim is and how brilliant he's been at Nice. Well, what have Nice done? Nothing. Do Nice like him? No. Do Nice fans like him? No. Do people at Nice like him? No. I mean, Wayne Rooney, played for Man United and he'll stick up for the Glazers. But actually, does that mean that the Glazers are good owners? No. Are the Glazers good owners? No, because if you speak to anyone at Man United, they don't like the Glazers. If you speak to anyone at Nice, they don't like Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And I tell you what, the only way we get no Jim, we get no Glazers is if we get Qatar. And I'm not saying that you have to like Qatar. I'm not saying that Qatar's bid is perfect. Yes, Qatar have money, but look at Todd Bopey. Look how they spend money. It's not all about money. And yes, there are issues with the Qatar bid, and I don't always agree with the way that PSG has been run. I think they've been a bit irresponsible with their money. And unfortunately, the only owners that would just be brilliant for the club are Manchester City's owners. If they could actually just swap deal with the Glazers, that would be fantastic, because they've absolutely ran Manchester City so well. Although I say that 115 FFP charges. But, what I'm saying is this takeover is annoying. We just want the Glazers gone. Sir Jim is a rat. We don't want Sir Jim. But the most annoying thing of all is we've got this big transfer window ahead. And this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Jurrien Tim. I'm going to talk about Moises Caicedo. We've been literally said today by Romano, yes, United like Alexis McAllister, but it's more likely to go to Liverpool because they can get on and do things. Brighton have signed 2 players. Liverpool are getting on and doing things. City are ready to start acting. Barcelona are about to start swooping up Gundogan on a free because all they can do is 3 signings, and they're still signing people before us. Arsenal going to get Declan Rice, and United are just here faffing. Romeo Lavia, that's a good one. Now he could be swooped up by a rival, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Look, we're going to talk about Jurrien Timber, we're going to talk about Kane, we're going to talk about Min-jae, we're going to talk about Moises Caicedo, we're going to talk about Rabiot, we're going to talk about Diogo Costa, we're going to talk about Orkun Koku in today's video. We're going to talk about the transfer news. But as David Ornstein says, the problem with this takeover is till this takeover is done, there's not much United can do with transfers other than kind of talking to the players. Eric Ten Hag has said we've spoken to the players that want to come to United. Eric Ten Hag has shortlisted his players that he wants. Eric Ten Hag has spoken to these players and knows they're open for a United move, but they could go if other clubs come in and swoop in because they might not want to wait around for United. And unfortunately, Ten Hag's spoken to the players. He's done his bit. He wants his players. He knows who he wants in and out. And he's waiting for United to do something. But United can't do that something because they're delaying the takeover process that they started in November. They started this takeover process in November. They are delaying it. It was meant to be wrapped up by March. They told Ten Hag, they told all the Glazers, they told Ten Hag, they told all the staff at Manchester United this takeover process would be wrapped up by the end of March. It is the end of March was nearly 2 months ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's an absolute joke as well. Leo says Caicedo and a striker, and we'd be miles better. Exactly. We need a big striker as well. This takeover process is worse than De Jong. It is. I mean, I spoke about De Jong in my video earlier. I said, look, take the story with a pinch of salt. Don't believe we're going to get De Jong. And the people were saying, Alice, how dare you say De Jong's name? I never want to hear that name again. And when this takeover is sorted, I never want to hear the word takeover again. I will go crazy. The Glazers have dragged this process out ridiculously long. And as I was trying to say, this is such an important summer for Manchester United. Ten Hag has overachieved, but next season, we need to do better than this season. And I'll be honest, trophy, top 4 finish, potentially another trophy. Do I see Ten Hag right now doing better than top 4, an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup next season? No. Do I see us winning the Champions League? No. Do I see us winning the Premier League? No. The only way we can do better is if we finish second, a few points behind first, and win a trophy, like the FA Cup again. Potentially, you could call that improvement on this season. But really, I don't see Ten Hag improving on this season, next season, if he doesn't get the signings he wants. Now, if Ten Hag got Harry Kane and Moises Caicedo and Diogo Costa and Kim Min-jae in the summer transfer window, then I would say I hope that we are very much doing what Arsenal did and at least challenging Manchester City through to April. I don't know if we've got the experience or capability to win the league, but at least challenging right through to the end and potentially going for a very good Champions League run, making it to a final, winning a trophy, whether it be FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League on the way. That's what United should be doing. We're in the first year of our rebuild. Top four, basically tick. Trophy, tick. Hopefully 2 trophies. That FA Cup feels like a Champions League just because with the treble on the line. So potentially 3 trophies, potentially 2 trophies for United and a top 4 finish. That is a very good season. That is a massive overachievement from Ten Hag. I thought we were going to finish 6th and trophyless. When we lost 4 to Brentford, I thought we were going to finish about 10th and trophyless this season. He's massively turned it around. Obviously, Liverpool being crap's helped, Spurs being crap's helped, Chelsea being crap's helped. Yes, we've had a few favours on the way that actually our rivals have been crap, but our rivals that have been crap this season will not be as crap next season. And they will have better transfer windows. So the problem and the thing that I'm worried about with this takeover and this takeover process of dragging on and dragging on and dragging on is, well, look at what we've got to do. We want to progress from this good season, not regress. And you know, if our rivals are going to improve and our squad depth is iffy and we're aging, the only way we can progress is by having a good transfer window, signing a good midfielder, signing a good striker, signing a good centre back, getting that goalkeeper in. And United cannot do any of that or start that process until this takeover is done. Maybe they can get Rabiot in, and maybe they can sell some players. 30 million from McTominay, 30 million for Dean Henderson's being reported. Teams also wanting Elanga. We will get into that in a second. But we can't physically do anything until the takeover moves. So although we're speaking to Kim Min-jae and we've had this and this with Kim Min-jae, and Kim Min-jae likes the idea of United, and although Ten Hag's doing this with Jurrien Timber, you know, as we've seen with the McAllister situation, Ten Hag really likes McAllister, but it said he's going to go to Liverpool. Romano said he's more likely to go to Liverpool because Liverpool are more advanced than Man United on the situation, and that's because Liverpool are actually starting to sign players. Man United are just speaking to players saying, this is what we're going to do, but we've got this takeover, so we can't do anything, so you've got to wait. Not every player is going to want to wait. Jurrien Timber wants to leave Ajax. He's made that clear. His first choice would be Manchester United. That is fact. Kim Min-jae's reported first choice is United. He's decided to join United if they, obviously do something with his release clause. So that's Kim Min-jae. Harry Kane reportedly, because if we finish in the top 4 and Spurs don't, will be open to going to United. We'd be the favourites to sign him. You know, Orkun Koku, a Feyenoord, very much likes United. Declan Rice, very much going to go to Arsenal. Bellingham going to go to Real Madrid. De Jong doesn't want us. Romeo Lavia, you've got United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool all expressing interest in him. I think he'll go to the club that's serious and tries and gets him done quick. Probably Liverpool. They actually, although they complain about FSG, at least they go and get stuff done. You know, I think United are in this problem where our rivals are going to get better, and we might not get better next season if we don't go out there and significantly strengthen, which is why I'm going to rant about this takeover and why I do want to get into the takeover news in a second. I am going to get into the Timber news. Fabrizio Romano went on the United stand today. It did a really, really good update on Jurrien Timber, Vlahovic, Kane, a couple of players. But I want to get into Ben Jacobs' update on the takeover, which is essentially, you know, Qatar not interested in West Ham. They've created this 9-2 foundation. It is designed for United. Kind of basically saying Qatar are going to go all out for United. They're getting frustrated that this process is delaying, etc., etc., etc. Danny B says Caicedo is our man. Paul can have Liverpool, exactly. And Alex says Ineos haven't been well run at all since the Nice haven't been well run at all since the Ineos takeover. 3 top 4 finishes in the 6 years before Jim, and none since. And that says it all, really, doesn't it? You know, Sergio Ratcliffe is not a good owner, and you know there's certain United accounts, like the Muppeteers, as soon as a pro Sergio Ratcliffe story comes out, they'll be quote-tweeting, pro-tweeting, and then as soon as a Qatar tweet comes out, they'll say that this is rubbish and all of that. But then when the report comes out and people at Nice speak out about Sergio poor ownership, they won't say anything. There's people in the media that don't actually want to talk about how poor Sergio's ownership of Nice has been. You know, I get that people wanted Sergio, and I get that anything's an improvement on the Glazers, but when you deep it, will we be able to keep Manchester City, who have matched our three-peat and potentially going to match our treble, and just continuing to strengthen and strengthen and strengthen? And when I say Manchester City are better than Manchester United in every aspect, the Manchester United social media team is posting videos of Anthony doing a skill and then losing the ball. Look at Manchester City's social media. Look at their YouTube. Look at their TikTok. Look at their social media pages. Okay, look at Manchester City's facilities. Look at Manchester City's coaching staff, their structure, their recruitment, not just ownership. Manchester City is better run than United in every single state. Facilities, how they invest the money, their youth academy is starting to match ours. Their scouting is better than us. Their recruitment is better than us. Their ownership is better than us. They employ better people in social media. They employ better people in coaching. Every aspect of Manchester City, from top to bottom, everything important in a football club, their marketing is getting better than ours. They are better than us in every aspect. And that is because the Glazers aren't good businessmen. They don't know how to run a football club. And they're not running a football club well. And the only way we can capture them is if we get competent owners. And Sir Jim hasn't proved to be a competent owner. Now, I'm not saying that Sheikh Jassim is going to be a competent, brilliant owner. He could be a top bohie. He could spend a lot of money but be a madman. But at least with Sheikh Jassim, we know that this person is here. They want to improve the facilities. They want to invest in the women's, youth, and men's team. And that they want to clear debt at United and not take money out of United. They've not lied to us, saying they're a United fan, and them keeping the Glazers here as a business ploy to take over the club. That is my point as well. Those saying De Jong leave it, he has already confirmed he's not leaving Barcelona this summer and they don't want to sell him. Seems to be the case that De Jong won't happen as well. Bidders were not fooled by Glazer delays. They need to get on with it already. Yeah, we need to get on with the takeover as well. A striker possibly do Casado Rabiot on a free and Kim Min-jae, but probably nothing's going to happen in the way we want it. I mean, that would be a great transfer window. We need to protest FA Cup final, potentially. Next season will be a brutality, especially if we don't get these transfers done. Liverpool and Chelsea will likely be a much stronger team next term. Rest of the top three not going anywhere. We need a strong summer window. Yeah, people forget that it's the top 7 now with Newcastle. Arsenal look like a serious club again, despite not winning anything. Newcastle are a serious club. Man City are up there. As Alex has said, those top 3 aren't moving. The top 3 in the Premier League are not moving. It's between United, Liverpool, Spurs, and Chelsea for 4th. Liverpool look like they're going to crack on. Chelsea look like they're going to crack on. And Spurs potentially could crack on. And that's the problem. Then we're having a 6th place season. And then we're saying this is bad, sack Ten Hag. And then we have to get a new manager again and start the loop again. If we finish 6th next season because all the other teams have invested better than us, I ain't sacking Ten Hag. I'm saying, look, this is a pattern. We finish 4th, then we don't do anything. The teams around us invest better than us. Then they finish above us the following season because they look to improve, we don't. But we have this cycle of get a manager, back a manager, finish 4th, then don't back the manager in the following season. We drop off, we don't finish 4th, we sack the manager, we get a new manager in. Then we have to go and get new players to suit that new manager and we start the rebuild process again. No, I am not doing that. We are backing Ten Hag. We are backing Ten Hag this summer. We're backing him next summer. He is the man. He's won us a trophy. He's done this. He's done that. Back Ten Hag, please. That's what I'm saying as well. If we don't get a point against Chelsea, Mitrovic worries me. Fulham's last day of the season. Yeah, having Mitrovic back as well. And Fulham outplayed us when they came to Old Trafford. FA Cup, they would have beat us if it weren't for them red cards. I tell you that now. So we need to. Look. Let's be honest. When did we last lose at Old Trafford in the Premier League? Brighton's the only game we've lost at Old Trafford in the Premier League, and that was the first game of the season. Chelsea have won 1 game under Frank Lampard. Chelsea are absolutely horrific. I tell you what, I would be shocked if we get a draw against Chelsea, that is a bad result. A draw at home to this Chelsea side is a bad result. But a draw is all we need. So if we get the draw, that is fine. But if we generally lose to Chelsea on Thursday, I will lose my mind. They are awful. That would be an absolute disgrace. And Casemiro's come out and said, yeah, a point's all we need for top 4, but we better win these last 2 games. A point isn't enough in my eyes. And Casemiro is right. And that's the mentality we need. Because if we bottle top 4 from here, it's a disgrace, but we shouldn't. I mean, I look at that Chelsea side, they're horrific. We're at home. We've basically got so many clean sheets at home. We've conceded about 8 goals at home all season, lost 1 game at home all season. This will be the 1 game of the season Chelsea show up. Let's be honest. This is going to be the 1 game of the season Chelsea show up. But last time Frank Lampard played United at home, 4-0 win, and that's what we want to repeat. And hopefully Rashford will be back for that as well. We'll probably get destroyed next season. And if we don't invest, we could be in for a rough next season. Any resolution closer? Well, we're going to get into the takeover news in a second, but it's essentially Sheikh Jassim getting fed up. The people getting fed up. They want this to move. Glazers are delaying it because they can't decide. Basically, Joe and Avram just can't decide, apparently, is what's being said. You know what? I'm always going to stick with what David Ornstein said. David Ornstein stopped talking about the United takeover. And the reason he said that is because one day you ask United what's going on and they'll tell you Sergio Ratcliffe's winning. And the next day I'll ask United what's going on, and they'll tell them Sheikh Jassim's winning. Then the next day you ask United what's going on, and they'll say the Glazers want to stay. And then I'll speak to them again and say the Glazers want to go. And then I'll speak to them again saying the Glazers are close to making a decision. Then I'll speak to them again and they'll say no, they're not close to making a decision. Basically, David Ornstein is saying with this takeover, us journalists, we are being briefed on a different thing, a different day. So we don't know what they're saying is true and what's not true. Only a few people know what's going on, and the Glazers don't want to let the truth really come out to the journalists. They've got the non-disclosure agreement signed, so all the news that comes out is very much filtered and heavily controlled by the Glazers. It's what the Glazers want the journalists report, which might not mean it's true news. It might be news that the journalists want the Glazers to the Glazers want the journalist report, to kind of help drive up the value of the club and the negotiation process. And David Ornstein is essentially saying everything we get told, we don't know if it's true or not, because essentially the Glazers is saying that they're going to delay this process till after the transfer window. They're going to make a decision in June. But are the Glazers saying that to get Sir Jim to put in another bid or get Sheikh Jassim to put in another bid? Because it's been nearly 4 weeks since those final bids gone in and they've not picked a preferred bidder. Are they waiting for a minority investment? Are they waiting for more money? What are the Glazers waiting for? They're clearly waiting for something if they're taking longer and longer to delay this, or it is a game because they want another bid, so they're waiting for another bid. Essentially, I think what David Ornstein is saying is every bit of news we get told is different every day. Only a few people know. We don't know what's going on. The journalists don't know what's going on, but we do know this. Jim Ratcliffe, 3 billion, 50%. The Glazers can stay, but they lose power in 5 years. Value per share, Darcy and the Glazer siblings love that offer. Okay, Sheikh Jassim, he's made this 9-2 foundation. He is very determined to get United at all costs. He has told his representatives, do not come back to Qatar until it's done. They put in another 4th bid, just the other day because they heard they were going to be losing out to Sir Jim. Qatar are very serious, Qatar are very confident, and Qatar won't stop at all costs to get United. The question is, do the Glazers want to sell? If the Glazers want to sell, if Joe and Abraham decide they want to sell their shares, surely they'll give it to Sheikh Jassim. 5.5 billion for the whole club. How can you say no to that when the club is really worth 4 billion? You greedy bastards. Sheikh Jassim. But if the Glazers want to stay, they might be open to Sir Jim and other investments. The problem is we don't know what the Glazers are thinking because the Glazers don't want us to know what they're thinking. The Glazers love playing the game because they want to make sure that Sir Jim and Qatar have no idea if it's going to be them. So they keep wanting to up their bid. The Glazers are annoyed that we didn't get 10, 11 bidders all putting in bids, didn't get this massive bidding war that they wanted. So that's why they're delaying the process. They know if we've got a massive bidding war, then Qatar would have probably put in a 6 billion bid because, they wanted a bidding war with someone else that can match Qatar. Sir Jim Ratcliffe for full sale can't match Qatar, so we can only offer for 50% of the club or 69% of the club. Glazers want a bidding war with multiple people that can offer for 100% of the club. The Glazers didn't get that bidding war, which is why I believe that the Glazers are delaying the deal as well. I predict the Glazers will make an announcement after the FA Cup final, and I think the announcements will be that they're taking investment from the Carlisle Group, says Spells. And look, that is the worst case scenario. You know what? I tell you what, the worst case scenario we can do is sit through 7 months with the prospect and hope of a takeover. This hope that the Glazers will go. The media telling us it's more likely the Glazers will leave because, to be honest, it's very unsustainable for them to stay. Imagine sitting through 7 months of the Glazers might go this and that. Manchester City winning the treble, Manchester City winning the three-peat, Manchester City getting stronger and matching our greatest ever achievement, sitting through 7 months of a takeover just to hear that the Glazers are staying after all. I honestly would be just done with this club. I'd honestly be done because I tell you what Manchester City are doing should not be allowed, should not be happening. Manchester City are a nothing club. I mean, they literally they can't even fill the stadium. Their match day tickets are on uni days. They've just won the three-peat. They're about to win the treble, and about 5 people turn up to the celebrations the day they win the league. Manchester City sell their tickets on uni days to try and sell out their stadium on the cheap for a tenner. And that Manchester City side that had not won pretty much anything in years, 15 years ago, is now matching all of Manchester United's historic legacies because Manchester United is owned by owners that did not want to invest in the club, did not want to invest in the facilities, and did not want to run the club properly. And we've let our arch rivals finish above us the last 10 seasons in a row. 15 years ago, if someone had said to a Man City fan, you're going to finish above Man United 10 seasons in a row, probably 11, they'll finish above us next season, they would have been, what? Like shocked. But that is how poor and bad we've been mismanaged. Because yes, Manchester City has spent a lot of money, but so have we. Yes, Manchester City has spent more money than us, and yes, Manchester City don't generate the same kind of money we do. And Manchester City have probably, most likely, most definitely breached FFP charges, and they will get away with it because they've got a lot of money. But that doesn't change the fact that Manchester City might have spent only a couple hundred million more than us, probably 100 million more than us in the last 10 years. But look how much better they spent it, and look how they've spent it, and look at their facilities, look at how well run the club is, look at their social media pages, look at their recruitments, look at their scouting, look at what they do, look at every single aspect of City, and it is better than us. And that is because the Glazers have just not bothered to do this, not bothered to do that, not bothered to do this. The Glazers look at the stadium, can't be asked, it's leaking, whatever, not going to improve that. Carrington hasn't improved in 17 years. There's been no major renovation to the stadium in 17 years. It is leaking, there is dust, it is a state. We are Manchester United, we're the biggest club in England. We're technically the biggest club in the world because we have 1.1 billion reported worldwide followers, but it actually makes us bigger than Real Madrid and Barcelona. Reportedly, United are technically the biggest club in the world. But why are we acting like a mid-table club in the Championship? Why do we act like a mid-table club in the Championship, have facilities that are years behind our competitors, have people who run this club and make decisions who actually were bankers for 10 years? How could you allow Ed Woodward to run United and do Man United decisions for 8 years when his first 2 or 3 seasons was an absolute disaster? It's a joke. The Glazers allow that because the Glazers don't care. And it's so important that they leave. At the end of the day, Sir Jim, Sheikh Jassim, the most important thing is that the Glazers leave. Because what they've done with this club, and I don't think people understand that, how bad they've run this club. Look at how much money that has been wasted. Look at how many hidden gems, Moises Caicedo, Camavinga, Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, we could have signed for cheap. We had the opportunity to sign. They didn't want to invest in them, and then they go invest 80 million in Maguire. Look at the decision making. Look at the neglection of the club, the facilities, the stadium. Look at how our rivals are prospering. Look at everything. And, the Glazers have to go. It's not, why are you Glazers out? They spent this much money. No. Look at it. Look at what they've done. Look at us. We're Manchester United. We have 1.1 billion worldwide fans. We were the biggest club in England. We were once the best club in England. We are factually the biggest club in the world by fan base, but we act like a League Two side. And that is the problem. And it's not going to change, unfortunately, till the Glazers go. Jassim is basically a total mystery, but we know he has the funds behind him and eventually could get it right regardless. Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about Sheikh Jassim is no one really knows who he is, and there's a lot about his representatives, which is potentially why a lot of people aren't in big favour of him in terms of like the media and maybe the Rain Group. But we just need someone that is going to say, I'm not going to put this club in debt. I'm not going to take money out of this club. I'm going to invest in this club. And I want to make Man United the best team in the world again, because we're far off that and we're going to need a lot of investment, it's said as well. It was said that if Qatar get in, they would spend 400 million to strengthen the squad. Don't quite believe that kind of money, although Todd Bowie did 600 million, but it'd be mad. Imagine a backline of David Raya, Dillo, Kim Min-jae, Lissandro, Luke Shaw. That would be an absolutely fantastic backline as well. Declan Rice looks like he's going to Newcastle. I think that's a PR spin to hurry up Arsenal into putting a high bid in. I think he will go to Arsenal. I'm just going to scroll down on the live chat, people, as I am behind. And I also do want to get into the news because I've kind of been waffling a little bit as well. Qatar not buying West Ham, they will get United. It's come out today and said that Qatar, Sheikh Jassim is not interested in buying West Ham. He set up a 90 foundation to buy United. If he doesn't get United, he won't buy anyone else. Don't know if I believe that, but that is what's been said as well. It's so difficult to know as well because I think different stories are being leaked every day. I think it's so hard to understand actually what story on the takeover is true, what story on the takeover is not true. The bidders are not being fooled by the delays. They haven't seen a dramatic bid increase. Take one of the bids already, says Alex, and I agree. I think they're delaying the bids to try and see if they can get Sheikh Jassim or Surgeon to put in another bid. They're not being fooled by these delays. Yes, they're desperate to get in because they want to deal with the transfer window, and maybe the Glazers are playing on that the transfer window is just around the corner. They might panic, they might pay more to hurry the Glazers up and make a decision because they want to crack on with it, and it's very clear they do. But if they're not coming in with higher bids yet now, the Glazers just need to hurry up and make a decision, and I agree with that as well. So Jim, not Goodiner of Nice. Alice, we need to try and find out what it costs the Glazers to buy back 31% from NYSE. I've not a clue. And they have 10 days to find 200 million. And this is a point. It said, I think it might be mid or end of June though, but reportedly the Glazers have to spend 200 million in the transfers that we own by June, or United could be in trouble. So surely they need to get this takeover or this investment sorted by June, or at least by the end of June. I'm not quite sure when the date is. I need to check. I need to check that up as well. I do need to check that up as well. It just shows what super wealth can do in modern football climate. City, Newcastle, PSG, Chelsea. That is why, you know, whether you like it or not, if you want Man United to compete with those teams, they're going to need super wealth, and that is Sheikh Jassim. Big up for the super chat, Kevin B. Appreciate it. Sir Jim was paid to stay in to up the bid. You think that? I think Sir Jim is serious, but a lot of people do think that. We'll have to wait and see. Is Sir Jim being used to ploy to get more money out of Qatar? It'll be interesting to see what happens. Keep smashing the like. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. If anyone invests for the Glazers to stay, they won't get any money back. I'm sure they would have done their research. Exactly. A lot of people saying, look, I'm worried the Glazers could stay. I'm worried the Glazers could do this, the Glazers could do that. But like, if you're a business person and you're investing money so the Glazers can stay at United, I don't think that's going to do any good for your business. I don't think you're going to make really any money out of that, because the fans will just be so raging. The fans will just be so, I think, like angry, and it would just look bad for their business and stuff. And you know, I don't think it really makes much business sense to go and give the Glazers a load of money to stay at United when, one, you don't know how the Glazers are going to spend that money. Two, United is nowhere near as profitable as it used to be. To compete with other teams in the Premier League, to finish in the top four, United are going to have to invest heavily, which means they're going, if they want to profit, they're going to have to generate more money. The better Man United do in the league, the more trophies United win, the more money they generate. Yeah? So we need to do well on the pitch to generate more money, but to do well on the pitch, we need to spend significantly more money because of City, because of Newcastle, because of Chelsea. And that's something that, you know, the Glazers maybe have realised. Actually, you know, it's not like the Sir Alex Ferguson days where we could do F-all, give him a little bit of money, and he would just win league titles and get top 4 and top 3 every single season and win titles and win trophies. Actually, Premier League's about money now. If we want success and if we want to generate more money, because success means United generate more money, actually the Glazers are going to have to spend a significant amount of money in the squad every season, which means that they have less profit, they have less net profit, which means they can take less out in dividends. But from a business perspective, I don't understand why the Glazers would want to stay when actually the only way they can really start to make real profit out of United is success at the top. And with success at the top, and they don't care for success at the top because they still have people like Arnold and Woodward making this. They still have people like Arnold and Merton making decisions, and left Woodward here for 8 years. And if you're an investor, you should realise that Manchester United is a dying project. Yes, Ten Hag's doing well. Yes, this is going well. Yes, that is going well. But under the Glazers, it doesn't matter what Ten Hag's doing. It doesn't matter who's doing well. It doesn't matter who's not doing well. We are a dying project as long as the Glazers are here, because look at the facility, look at the stadium, look at how much needs to be done at United, and look at the people who will be controlling that money to do that. Will they control that money well? I don't think so. So I also think it makes no sense for someone to actually want to bid to keep the Glazers here as well. Keep smashing the likes. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video as well. Another debt for United. If Sir Jim comes in, that's more debt for United. William Fossen-Højlund, fantastic player, but I would sign him next summer. I think we need a striker that is ready now. Kane's got 28 goals in the Premier League this season. He comes into United, he boshes them in the back of the net. As fantastic and young as Højlund is, I think he's someone that you think should spend another year at Atalanta and then come to United the following season, as Kane will be aging, is honestly what I would do as well. I don't want Sir Jim. I don't want Jim, but surely he is well rich enough to stay in the process just for a bit of money. He's well rich enough not to stay in the process for a bit of money. I don't believe the theory that Sir Jim is just being used to get more money out of so and so. I agree. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really appreciate that as well. Just scrolling on the live chat as well. I heard that the rest of the shareholders have voted a no confidence vote towards the Glazers to stay. It's so hard to know what to believe, because basically it's being said that everyone wants the Glazers to go and the Glazers want to go, and they've all 6 siblings that decided to go, and then the next thing you know, the Glazers want to stay. And unfortunately, we don't know what the Glazers want, but hopefully the Glazers want to go. I think the fact that they waited and they played this game and they wanted another bid out of Sheikh Jassim says to me they're clearly, you know, they're delaying this and they're getting another bid in for Sheikh Jassim. I think deep down the Glazers do want to go, and I think deep down the Glazers want to sell the full club. But I think the Glazers will not do that at 4 billion. They are determined to get their 6 billion. They know how much money that these Qatar have got. They know how much Qatar want United. They know that Qatar want to crack on with the transfer window, so delaying the deal is going to annoy them to do that. You know, I have to say, I think the Glazers do want to sell. I do. I'm not saying I know that. I'm just saying, logically, if you can cash in 5.5 billion, not have to deal with the hassle, the process of running United again, 5.5 billion, 6 billion, not have to deal with any of that. Why wouldn't they want that? All in one, you know. I mean, maybe they want to stay because they've been, you know, spending what, 250 grand on our expenses. Absolute joke. But I mean, for me, I think the Glazers want to go, and I think it's just being delayed because they want more money out of Sheikh Jassim. They want more money out of Qatar. And we are going to get to the transfer window in just a second. I said that United's priorities here are signing a striker, a central midfielder, and a central defender. That central defender will be Min-jae or Jurrien Timber. That striker, as Romano has said, they're 100% focused on Harry Kane. He is the number one choice, but they do like Rasmus Højlund, they do like Vlahovic, and they obviously like Victor Osimhen as well. And Gonzalo Ramos is an option. And that central midfielder, they would absolutely love Frankie de Jong, but they've realised that is not going to happen. It looks like to be Rabiot and someone else. Alexis McAllister was someone they were keeping an eye on, but that seems to be more likely going to Liverpool as well. Glazers ain't selling. They have absolutely no interest in Kane. Hope this helps. Look, you could be right, but Ten Hag wants Kane, and I think the Glazers will sell. Now, I'm not saying the Glazers will sell. I don't know anything that you guys don't know, but I just think logically, I don't know what is in it if the Glazers stay. I don't know why they want to stay. You know, 7 months of this takeover, they clearly want something from Qatar. They've played Qatar into putting a fourth bid in, a fourth 11th hour bid in, which is 5.5 billion. There's clearly something they want, or there's clearly something that maybe Joe and Abraham want. You know, there's clearly something that we don't know about that they want. There's a reason they're delaying the takeover, and I don't think it's because they want to stay. I think it's because they want more money for the club. I think it's because they're greedy. Gundogan might not sign for Arsenal. I don't know if he will. Please put this on your scene that Glazers not going to take investment. If they did, it would have happened a while ago. I don't know if the Glazers are going to take investment. Look, the Glazers might stay and take an investment, but I think logically it makes more sense if they go. Even without the Glazers staying, Sir Jim's offer is crap, stuck with huge debts, decaying facilities, and not a sports genius either. And the problem is we can celebrate the Glazers going, but if it is Sir Jim, it's still not good either. Money's a major factor for a club, but we need to build a structure first, make a wonderful scouting network, and appoint a smart director of football. You're absolutely spot on. You know, Chelsea have a lot of money. They spent a lot of money. Where are they at? If United want to be a top club again, they need to get a top sporting director and top recruits. And you know what? I don't think our scouting is bad. We scouted Moises Caicedo, we scouted Camavinga, we scouted Bellingham, we scouted Enzo Fernandez, we scouted Julian Alvarez. But we need to be smart enough to have someone there to actually go, we found these players, let's buy these players. Why didn't we sign Moises Caicedo for 5 million? Why did we turn down Camavinga for 30 million and re-sign Ronaldo when we desperately needed a midfielder? Because Ronaldo was going to bring in more money for commercial reasons. Why did we sign Bellingham? We believed 30 million was too expensive for the 16-year-old. Money. Why didn't we sign Caicedo? We didn't want to do anything in January because the Glazers wanted to take out dividends. Money. Why didn't they sign Enzo Fernandez for 12 million and Julian Alvarez for 16 million? They said Ragnick's not going to be here, so we're not going to buy anyone that Ragnick wants. But Ragnick was looking at players that any manager would want in the future. Any manager would kill for Julian Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez now. The Glazers didn't listen. Why didn't we sign Jack Grealish? Donny van der Beek was cheaper. Why didn't we sign John Stones? We thought it was too expensive. Then we go spend 80 million on Maguire. You know, United makes so many poor decisions. That board makes so many poor decisions that the only way that United can kick on is if they completely, not even if we do get Qatar and Qatar's money, it is completely restructuring, because that is one of the reasons that I think we are so far behind Manchester City and other people as well. City's still talking to Gundogan's team, so people are jumping the gun, like to go to Barcelona. I think Gundogan will go to Barcelona, if not stay at City. I think it would be a fantastic deal for Arsenal, but I don't see it happening as well. If the Glazers stay, eras come to an end, could actually be the end of Sir Alex's legacy. Really depressing. Well, never Sir Alex's legacy, but it would feel like the end for United as well. Sorry. What is it? My thing is lagging. Sorry there. Also, I'm really tired, so I hope I haven't just zoned out. I don't know why. I'm just really tired today. I think it's the sun. You know, when you got like a sun on you, it's tired. Ollie asked for Haaland for 4 million. Yeah. Ollie asked for 4 million to buy Haaland when he got the job. Literally, and you know what's mad is United could have signed Haaland for 4 million. I do want to get into the Romano news, because I actually am half an hour into this live stream and not got into the news about who's going to go, who's going to stay, etc., etc. And I do want to get into this. This looks like an interesting post. These are players that United have been linked with. United have been linked with Aites, Mount, Koku, Kudus, Kang and Lee in Mallorca. This is a good post, actually. These are players that United have been linked to. But I do want to get into the transfer news, and in just a second, potentially us selling Wan-Bissaka, which I don't think would be good. But I did tweet out this earlier, and Manchester United could have signed Grealish, but opted for Donny because of Grealish's injury form, or Donny's always injured. Obviously United could have signed Jurrien Alvarez, but decided he wasn't ready. We're playing Weghorst up front. We didn't sign Jurrien Alvarez for 16 million, and we're playing Weghorst up front. Former Manchester United boss Louis van Gaal admitted he wanted to take John Stones to Old Trafford, clear of Maguire. Manchester United expected to confirm a deal for Borussia Dortmund midfielder İlkay Gündoğan next week. Then we didn't want to pay the money. City swooped in and paid the money, and Gundogan's a big part of City. Obviously Moises Caicedo for 5 million, an easy deal United could have done, and United thought, Moises Caicedo 5 million, let's not do this. And Alex is right, we could fill a world 11 with our missed transfers in recent years, and we go spend it on Maguire and Daniel James when you get Moises Caicedo. It's £4 million really. And then Erling Haaland favours Manchester United over a move to Bundesliga club, and United are prominent in his thoughts, according to source in Austria. There's a 20 million release clause that allows him to leave RB Salzburg in January. United didn't want to get Haaland because obviously, I know it was a bit difficult with Mino Raiola, but Edward Wood was being a stingy CUNT. So, I mean, Manchester United have missed out on unbelievable amounts of players and unbelievable signings. And, what is the criteria for a good director of football? Someone that the Glazers wouldn't employ, because the Glazers seem to employ incompetent people. I would have kept Ragnick at the club in a consultancy role to do his suggestions. I would have brought in someone like Paul Mitchell. If we can't get Paul Mitchell, I'd be looking at Napoli sporting director. I'd be looking at Michael Edwards, who did a fantastic job at Liverpool. I'd be looking at Benfica and Brighton, see if we can poach some of their scouts. I'd be getting those kind of people in to make the decisions. I'd be getting Arnold, Fletcher, and Murtagon. That's what United need to be doing. Getting competent people in, experienced people that have proven success, who have found these gems, so we can not only recruit efficiently, but actually look at players and go, this is what we need. Because I look at United right now and I go, well, we need a striker, we need a centre mid, we need another centre mid, we need a centre back, we need a goalkeeper. And I looked at United 2 summers ago and I said, look, Fred is not good enough. We needed a DM. We didn't sign a DM that summer. We signed Ronaldo. United have neglected a DM position for so long. We signed Casemiro become a new level because United have needed a DM for so long. I don't think United, we simply can't find underrated gems in the market, but the problem is the owners. The thing is, because we find these gems, we found Moises Caicedo, we found Jude Bellingham when not many other big teams were looking at them. We found Enzo Fernandez when no Premier League team was looking at him and he went to Benfica. We found Jurrien Alvarez before Man City swiped in and signed him. We found these players. Our scouts found Haaland, Jurrien Alvarez, Moises Caicedo, Jude Bellingham before a lot of other teams were really linked to them. We were one of the only teams linked to these people originally. But we didn't sign these players, and now all of them walk in our starting lineup. And the reason we didn't sign these players is not because we didn't find the hidden gems. It's because the owners felt that this wasn't a safe investment. They didn't want to spend in January. They didn't think the players were good enough, or they thought the players were too expensive. But this is the same club that would then go and spend 80 million on Maguire, but deem Julian Alvarez to not be worth the money, or Enzo Fernandez not ready or too risky when we're playing McTominay and Fred in midfield. That is the problem with Manchester United. They find the players, but do they always get the players? No. We've got one of the best scouting teams, but the worst board. And the thing is, I think we talk about how bad the scouting is and how bad the recruitment is. But actually, we are scouting the players. That's what I'm trying to say. We are scouting the players, but we don't buy the players we scout. So it's like, if you're a scout at United, you must feel useless because everyone slams United scouting, recruitment, what United have done. But actually, when you deep it, the scouts find the players, but the board don't invest. The only good thing that we have done is when we found, Garnacho, when we found Alvaro Fernandez, Marc Jurado, a lot of those players, they went and invested in them because they're academy players and they use the academy budget well. So that's the one, we have scouted well for that sense, but we do scout the players for the first team, but we don't seem to spend the money, and that's frustrating. And I just think we're so badly run. I mean, the report today that the Glazers just spent over £250,000 for a weekend trip to London on the expense account. But this is to watch the Women's FA Cup final, but yet they wouldn't even invest any money into the women's team. They wouldn't give the women proper facilities. Apparently, Manchester United women play on pretty much one of the worst pitches in the Women's Super League because the Glazers don't want to give them proper facilities. The Glazers didn't even care about the women's team. It's only a few years is only a few years old. And now that women's football is growing and women's football is starting to generate a bit more money, they're starting to show a bit of interest in the women's team. But they're not interested in the women's team. They're not interested in the success of the women's team. They're not interested in any of that, the Glazers. And then they'll turn up to the Women's FA Cup final and they'll spend more money showing up to the Women's Cup final and their little weekend trip to London than those women earning wages, that starting 11 earning wages. They refuse to invest and help out the women's side. They could have invested the money they take out in dividends in building a proper women's side that could have potentially won the league because they were close to Chelsea. It's not only the men's team they've neglected the women's team and they've neglected the facilities. And that's why we've fallen so behind rivals. And you know, we're so badly run. It's an absolute disgrace. But look, I have been babbling on for like 40 minutes and I've not really got into the news. So I do apologise for that. But I wanted to get into what Romano had said on the United stand. I wanted to get into the transfers as well. United have got to stay away from signing Sabitzer permanently, too much of a risk. I agree. It's not worth the kind of money. I'd rather get Rabiot on a free. Bayern Munich interested in signing Declan Rice. There's reports actually.
Sky Germany.
Oh, no, I don't want to get copyrighted. There's reports actually that Kimmich could go. They could do a swap deal for Kimmich and Cancelo. Man City and Bayern could be doing a swap deal for Kimmich and Cancelo, which would then Bayern would then target Declan Rice, which means that Arsenal fans will probably cry. But then I think if Arsenal lose out on Declan Rice, they get Moises Caicedo, and Moises Caicedo is the man that we want. So that is something that we don't want to happen. At the same time, Man City fans claiming this is their title parade, but we know Manchester doesn't look like that. We know it doesn't have a coast, so absolute mugs as well. But I want to get into what Romano said. He's spoken about the striker situation. I think Romano is very much hinting Victor Osimhen to United is very unlikely as well. And I think Victor Osimhen. Oh, wait. Throat just closed up there. Sorry. Jeez. I don't think Victor Osimhen to United will happen. I think it's too expensive. He says, you know, they want more money than Inter got for Lukaku. I mean, now deeping it, we've done some awful transfers, but Lukaku to Chelsea, 120 million euros for them to just pay and send out on loan the next summer when Chelsea don't have a striker. Chelsea don't have a striker. They panicked they don't have a striker. Signed Aubameyang, who's been useless. They paid 120 million euros for Lukaku last year to ship him out on loan and pay his 10 million for him to go out on loan. I actually think Lukaku to Chelsea is going to go down as arguably one of the worst transfers in football history as well. Romano still suggested Min-jae priority over Timber, given how good the deal is and the clause of the centre-back quality. And Alex is right with that, and I am about to get into that as well. So, what did Romano say? What did Romano say on the United stand today? Romano said Manchester United are among clubs who've made an inquiry about Dusan Vlahovic's potential price. He's one of the names on the shortlist. He said that Manchester United internally feel that Harry Kane is the perfect striker with them, but they are obviously keeping an eye on other strikers. He said there's an uncertainty about how much Manchester United will have to spend in the summer on various positions. Manchester United's priority is a top striker followed by a top midfielder, and they do want defensive reinforcement, but not sure what the budget is because of the takeover, etc., etc. Romano said that United are looking at midfielders. He said, for me, I would keep an eye on Adrian Rabiot to United. There's a big opportunity there. It's a free transfer. He also said that United, Liverpool and Arsenal appreciate Ryan Gravenberch's quality, but it depends on Bayern Munich because Bayern Munich might want to keep him. But he did speak mostly about Min-jae, as Alex has said. So I'm going to get into what Romano said on Min-jae. And I think this is definitely one to keep an eye on, especially because the release clause isn't active till July. And I do think the takeover will be sorted then. But it was said here, Manchester United consider Min-jae as a big opportunity. In my opinion, he's worth 70 to 80 million euros, but he will be available for around 48 million euros. And Romano is saying, United see this as a massive opportunity. United want Min-jae. They like Min-jae because this is a player that could be £40 million. And this is a player with Varane turning in his 30s, the squad aging. This is a very good player to play alongside Lisandro Martinez. Romano did say, obviously, there are reports that, United have decided, Min-jae's decided to join United, and United have agreed a €9 million contract with Min-jae. But Romano said that as far as he is aware, Manchester United haven't agreed anything with Min-jae as of now, which is contrary to the reports. And you've got to bear in mind that Newcastle and PSG are also interested in Min-jae. But what Romano is saying is United are the favourites to sign Min-jae. They've had a lot of talks and they have presented their project to Min-jae. But he said, there's not been an agreement. And I think that Romano was right with that. Maybe Kim Min-jae said to United, you're the club I prefer. I like, your project that you presented me, etc., etc. I'd be open to move to you if you pay my release clause in July. But I don't think anything's been agreed because, one, you can't really do any agreements with this takeover going on. And two, I think Kim Min-jae would wait to see if we qualify for the Champions League. But I think Romano is right in the sense of saying, United really want Kim Min-jae. They've had talks to Kim Min-jae. And I do think United are currently the favourites to sign Kim Min-jae. But, another team could sweep him. And you just don't know. But I think Kim Min-jae's one to keep an eye on. Release clause, bargain deal. But again, we need a striker. We need a midfielder. We don't know how much money United are gonna spend. Napoli are going to rob us for Osimhen, but obviously, luckily, Kim Min-jae's got a release clause, and that's why United want Kim Min-jae as well. Martial been at the club 8 years and offers nothing. Do you know what really frustrates me? And I'm not saying that Harry Kane is perfect, because look, Harry Kane is old. He's got a slight injury record, and we're going to massively have to overpay for Harry Kane. But I see people saying, I generally see accounts saying, let's give Martial another season. I see these accounts that rep Anthony Martial. And I like Martial. I mean, he's a decent player, but he's not it. He's not going to take us to that top level. I see a lot of Man United accounts that would rather have Martial start striker next season over Harry Kane. I see a lot of Man United accounts who are saying, give Martial another chance. Harry Kane's rubbish. I wouldn't get Harry Kane. Martial or Kane, that is not a comparison. Harry Kane is so clear of Anthony Martial. Harry Kane is playing in the deadest Spurs side ever. You know how Ronaldo got like 20 Premier League goals on that Man United side last season? We thought that was insane. Harry Kane is playing for a worse side, and he has got 28 goals, absolutely carrying that dead Spurs side this season. Harry Kane would have won the Golden Boot if Erling Haaland wasn't a bloody robot. Like, let's remember that. Harry Kane has 28 goals this season. He is consistently getting pretty much 20 goals every Premier League season that they can say consistently fit. But some people would rather have Martial. Yes, Kane is 30. Yes, we're going to massively overpay for Kane. Yes, he isn't quite worth the money, but it's a very much a Robin Van Persie-esque signing where he comes in and he makes an instant impact. You know that he's levels above Martial, and we're at the point where we create chances but we don't finish them, and we're getting frustrated. If Manchester United can get a top midfielder to help control games and Moises Caicedo, if Manchester United can bring in Kim Min-jae and United can bring in Harry Kane and potentially even develop that goalkeeper area as well, it would be a brilliant summer. And I think that is what Ten Hag wants to do. And hopefully that is what we can get around to doing, but you just don't know as well. I just think a lot of people, I like Martial, but he's not it. And I don't understand the Harry Kane hate from the accounts that love Martial. I understand not wanting to go for a 30-year-old Harry Kane and not thinking he's worth 100 million. I understand that, but I don't get people that would rather have Martial up front next season than Harry Kane. I really don't. Kim Min-jae would mean our backline gets strong for hopefully we get him strong defense, win titles. Strikers stink though. Yeah, if we sort out our back line, it helps us, control games. We've got a lot of clean sheets this season. Defensively, we've been good, but we do need to sort out our attack as well. Kane is world class. I'd just be concerned with his age. He's short term and could be liable to injury or loss of form, which is true. That is the worry. But Kane over Martial, man. A lot of people don't want Kane, and I understand that. But people that want Martial over Kane, I don't get. I don't get people that I think if you don't want Kane and you think Kane's rubbish, I don't get that. But if you don't think Kane is worth the money and you think it's a risk, I understand. I think in an ideal scenario, United sign Kane and Højlund, or United sign Kane and Gonzalo Ramos, or United sign Kane and Evan Ferguson, because Victor Osimhen is way out of budget. Napoli will charge a fortune, and we need someone that's going to come in now and ready now. And I think Kane is that guy, and I think Ten Hag sees that. Vlahovic has dropped off in form. Ideal scenario, and Simon Jones said this, United would love Kane and Evan Ferguson, or Kane and Højlund, but we don't have the budget for that. Reportedly, we have a 400 million budget, but let's be honest, we know that is not true as well. We know that it's not true as well. If we sign Kane, we just need to sort out a successor. Exactly. It's just getting Kane. I think for me, Rabiot instead of Sabitzer, Moises Caicedo, Kim Min-jae, David Raya, Harry Kane, very good summer. Then the next season, you look at maybe that potential right back, a Kane successor, maybe a potential winger as well, depending on Sancho's form and how Sancho does. That's how I kind of gauge it as well. I take Kane to 2 to 3 years. I mean, logically opens us up for more backup strikers in the future. Some new strikers could come and we could buy them. Exactly. There's not much on the striker market right now. It's true, Forest are ready to pay 30 million for Henderson. We need more money from selling, but the problem is the wage bill. You get Henderson for 30 million, you get 30 million from McTominay, you get 25 million from Maguire. We've got 85 million. Boom. Get Martial, Donny, get about 100 million in sales. wages, etc., other deadwood. Man United could raise up to £150 million in sales if they are smart. Probably could raise over 100 million if they're smart. That's what United need to do. And apparently we do need to sell to buy, so hopefully we get on with the selling as well. Kane is not coming simple. I'd keep an eye on it. I think he wants to leave Spurs, but I think Kane is all about... Kane could be Frankie de Jong saga 2.0, because one, we might not start it late because of the takeover. Two, Daniel Levy is difficult to deal with. Kane could be de Jong 2.0. I think Kane will drag out, but it said that United want to get business done early. But I don't believe that report because this takeover is still ongoing. But Romano very much hinted we do like Jurrien Timber. We're big fans on Jurrien Timber, but he also said we're Man United see this Min-jae thing as a massive opportunity, which would hint that Min-jae is kind of the first choice ahead of Jurrien Timber. But Kane is clearly the first choice striker, and we clearly want a midfielder. You know, it's clear we want Min-jae, Kane, and the midfielder. I don't know who that midfielder is. We've been linked to a lot of names, but I think it's Rabiot, and I think it is someone else because we do want a big midfielder. As well, but it will be interesting to see what United do regarding the takeover. Again, hopefully we get some news come out this week. It said that Qatar will go all out. Qatar are determined with this Manchester United takeover, etc., etc., etc. So I do think that hopefully we should get some takeover news this week, but it seems that the Glazers are just inevitably delaying the takeover. But it said that Qatar won't give up easy, so let's hope that we can get some Qatar in. The news on Qatar is really that Qatar won't give up easy. They've got this 19 foundation. They're staying in England. They want to get it sorted. They put in another bid. Qatar will go for United at all costs. But the news is the Glazers still haven't made a decision whether they want to stay or go, which offer they want to take, and it's delaying the news on the takeover. Now that is is a Manchester United live stream news update and takeover video. I do apologize if there was points where I was kind of just not making sense. I was about 15 minutes into the live stream. I was kind of falling asleep, and you know when you speak and then you forget what you're going to say and then you start going on a ramble and it probably didn't make sense. I do apologize. I know I'm talking really fast because I just want to wrap this up, but I just want to say, guys, thank you for watching thank you for tuning into today's live stream. Please do smash a like on the way out. Subscribe down below if you're new. There will be a video tomorrow morning. If any breaking news comes out in the coming hours, of course, I'll be live again or do a video again. For all the latest news, make sure you're subscribed. Hopefully, we find some stuff out on the takeover soon. It's got to be soon, but you never know with the Glazers. See you in a bit. Bye.